Hello students, how are you all? So let me just share the screen before we start. Okay. Okay, so in today's session, we're going to do CLAT 2022 previous year questions, passage number 3 and 4. Okay, so let's start doing it. Okay, so what do we have in the passage number 3 in CLAT 2022 previous year question? Let's start reading the passage. Biodiversity is being lost at a rate not since the last mass extinction. Now that is correct, friends. Because if I have to just give you the general idea, in the last 50 years, we have seen around more than 50% of the species getting extinct. Okay, and the sad part. What is the sad part? Directly or indirectly, humans are responsible for the extinction of the species. Okay, so let's move forward. What we have. But the United Nations decade old plan to slow down and eventually stop the decline of species and ecosystem by 2020 has failed. Most of the plan's 20 targets, known as आइची बायोडाइवर्सिटी टारगेट्स हैव नॉट बीन मेट मतलब एक नाम दिया था बायोडाइवर्सिटी टारगेट्स का विच वाज आइची बायोडाइवर्सिटी टारगेट्स द आइची टारगेट्स आर पार्ट ऑफ एन इंटरनेशनल एग्रीमेंट कॉल्ड द यूनाइटेड नेशन कन्वेंशन on biological diversity, and member states are now finalizing replacement for them. Currently referred to as the post 2020 Global Biodiversity Framework, its draft was published in July 2021. It aims to slow down the rate of biodiversity loss by 2030. Okay, so after the Aichi targets, are now finding replacements for them. Currently अभी referred to as post 2020 क्या refer किया जा रहा है उसको ग्लोबल बायोडाइवर्सिटी फ्रेमवर्क, यानी कि हम लोग क्लियरली देख सकते हैं कि ये बायोडाइवर्सिटी में ग्लोबल लेवल की बातें हो रही है, इसलिए नाम रखा गया है ग्लोबल बायोडाइवर्सिटी फ्रेमवर्क। एंड उसका हम लोग का टारगेट क्या है? टू स्लो डाउन द रेट ऑफ द बायोडाइवर्सिटी लॉस बाय 2030। And by 2050, biodiversity will be valued, conserved, restored, and wisely used, maintaining ecosystem services, sustaining a healthy planet, and delivering benefits essential for all people. The Global Biodiversity Framework is a comprehensive plan. Comprehensive मतलब क्या होता है? It is a in detailed plan connected, long range, there is inclusivity, community setup, वो सब पूरा प्लानिंग के साथ जो चीजें करती है उसको क्या बोलेंगे हम लोग? कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव प्लान। बट सक्सेस विल रिक्वायर सिस्टमिक चेंज अक्रॉस पब्लिक पॉलिसी। व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ सिस्टमिक चेंज? जो रूट लेवल पे जाके बात करके यू ट्राई टू सॉल्व अ वेरी कॉम्प्लेक्स प्रॉब्लम, उसको बोलेंगे सिस्टमिक चेंज। That is both a strength and a weakness. If systemic change can be implemented, it will lead to real change. But if it cannot, then there is no plan B. This has led some researcher to argue that one target or number should be prioritized and defined in a way that is clear to the public and to policy makers. It would be the biodiversity equivalent of 2 degrees Celsius climate change. Okay, now let's move on to the questions and let's try to figure out the answers. Okay. As per the passage, which of the following is a challenge for the implementation of the post 2020 global biodiversity framework? यानी कि जो GBF को लेके चैलेंज है वो कौन सा है as per the passage? Unfulfillment of the pre 2020 global biodiversity targets. Okay. Clarity of action plan for the society and government, threat of mass extinction, failure of plan to save ecosystem. So यहाँ पे जो आंसर आएगा वो आएगा आंसर बी। ओके, बिकॉज अगर हम लोग देखें द GBF इज अ कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव प्लान, यानी कि जो ऐसा प्लान जो पूरा कम्युनिटी सेटअप को लेके होता है, पूरा इंटरलिंक्ड चीज़ें होती है, इंक्लूसिवनेस होता है, तो कहीं ना कहीं ये प्लान एग्जीक्यूशन के लिए कहीं ना कहीं देयर इज अ क्लैरिटी रिक्वायर्ड। ओके, और क्लैरिटी क्यों चैलेंज बन के आएगा? बिकॉज यहाँ पे लिखा है दैट इज बोथ स्ट्रेंथ एंड वीकनेस। इफ सिस्टम चेंज कैन be implemented, it will lead to real change. But if it cannot, there is no plan B. Okay, so that is why clarity of action plan for the society and government should be required, and hence plan B is correct. Nowhere in the passage pre 2020 global targets has been talked about. This is mass extinction का threat का बात नहीं हुआ है. Failure of plan to save ecosystem. Uh, that is not a challenge, that is a threat. Failure of plan to save ecosystem is a threat, but clarity of action plans for the society and government is a challenge, because हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, ये नहीं हुआ तो ये करेंगे, ये नहीं हुआ तो ये करेंगे, ऐसा, इसलिए हमारे पास क्या है, क्लैरिटी नहीं है. सो आंसर would be option B. Okay, let's move on with the next question. According to the passage, why do some researchers advocate that one biodiversity target to be prioritized? Okay, systemic policy change is difficult to implement. That is precisely why, you know, we are able to, what we are doing for the alternate, we are setting up the target. ये तो सीधा सीधा हम लोग को पैसेज में दिया हुआ है. Post 2020 GBF is comprehensive. Okay, the 2 degree climate target needs to be prioritized. ये तो ठीक है, ये तो दिया हुआ है अपने को, but why it is advocating वो हम लोग को आंसर में निकालना है. So that is the precise answer. Biodiversity needs to be valued, conserved, restored, and widely used. Doesn't fit in the context. So answer would be option A. Okay. Which of the following is correct expression of the author's opinion as stated in the passage? Implementation of post GBF allows no middle ground for success or failure. Okay. यहाँ पे अगर हम देखें, if systemic change can be implemented, it will lead to real change. But if it cannot, there is no plan B. Okay, so there is no middle ground for success or failure. It's either you get succeeded or you get failed. Okay, so A is a good answer, but let's see what we have in the next part. It is high time that country reevaluate the progress in achieving biodiversity targets. Okay, this is also good answer. Biodiversity conservation should be prioritized over climate change at the global level. Which of the following is correct expression of the author's opinion as stated in the passage? The post 2020 global diversity framework is the best way to prevent mass extinction. ऐसा कुछ best way नहीं दिया हुआ है. Should be prioritized over climate change, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं दिया है कि over climate change it should be prioritized. तो C और D तो पक्का नहीं है. बट अगर हम लोग A and B में देखें, it is high time that country evaluate the progress in achieving biodiversity targets. देखो countries की यहाँ पे बात नहीं की है कि countries का priority क्या होना चाहिए, but मतलब it is somehow B is not aligning with the passage. But if we see the option A, implementation of the post 2020 global biodiversity framework allows no middle ground for the success, वो सीधा सीधा you can take from the passage. Okay, so answer for this will be option A. Okay, let's move on with the fourth question. Which of the following is the central theme of the above passage? The reason for failure of biodiversity conservation efforts at global level. No, that is not the central theme. सीधा सीधा cancel हो सकता है. The interrelationship between biodiversity conservation and climate change. No, actually देखो climate change का इतना हम लोग ने specific बात नहीं किया हुआ है. The future of biodiversity conservation efforts at global level, ये future की बात कर रहा है actually में, because if you see by 2030 and by 2050 हम लोग को एक targets met करना है. So C is considered to be a central theme. The role of United Nations in biodiversity conservation at global level. देखो that cannot be termed as a central theme, but United Nation का involvement है, no doubt. But the future of biodiversity conservation efforts at global level, ये जो है ये पूरे पैसेज में आपको उसके flashes दिखने मिलते हैं. इसलिए C is a better answer than D. Okay, we cannot discard D, but C is a better answer than D. Okay. Let's move forward. Which of the following can be inferred from the passage? Okay, let's see what we have. The holistic nature of post 2020 global diversity framework is a boon. Boon matlab blessing. The holistic nature of the post 2020 GBF is a pain. Matlab it is a curse. The holistic nature of GBS can be a boon or can be a bane. देखो हम लोग को इसका रिजल्ट्स अभी तक पता नहीं चला है, so we cannot say whether it is a boon or it is a bane. It can be either way around. Okay, so यहाँ पे हम लोग C लिख सकते हैं because अभी तक हम लोग को पता नहीं चला है whether it is a boon or it is a bane. Okay, so यहाँ पे C is a better answer. The post 2020 global diversity includes the 2 degree climate टारगेट. देखो ये तो आपको दिया हुआ है, इसमें आप कुछ इन्फर नहीं करते हो. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ इन्फरेंस? इन्फरेंस इज जब आप कोई एजुकेटेड गेस करते हो फ्रॉम द पैसेज. सो यू आर नॉट गेसिंग एनीथिंग, ये तो दिया हुआ ही है. Hence, we will not consider this as an answer. So, but even if you are confused between C and D, you can always look that C is always a better answer than D. Okay, so answer for this particular question will be, friends, option C. Okay. Okay, so I hope the passage 3 is clear. Now let's move on with the passage 4. Okay, now let's see what we have in passage 4. And unintended and unjust consequences of the Protection of the Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 is its widespread persecution of teenage lovers. What is the meaning of persecution? Wherein you charge someone of criminality, that is persecution of teenage lovers. This law raised the age of the consent from 16 to 18 years while defining the person below 18 years as children. Consequently, when two 16-year-olds are romantically and sexually involved, but girl's family doesn't approve the affair and files a police complaint, her consent has zero legal validity, and the consensual relationship morphs into a case of statutory rape. The Allahabad High Court has indicated how its conscience matlab antaratma is concerned by such severe POCSO provision provision being drawn by teenage lovers simply on the basis of family disapproval. यानी जो teenage lovers होते हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं victim हो जाते हैं because of the family disapproval. The high courts of Delhi, Madras, and others have made similar observations in recent years and also pointed to amendments to the law that can help reduce its injustice. One suggestion that has gathered broadly support is to push back both the cutoff for child and the age of the consent to 16 years. यानी कि जो 16 साल का ये है उसको पुश करने का टू 16 ईयर्स, यानी कि अभी 18 साल को छोटा माना जाता है तो उसको पुश करके 16 तक लेके आने का. गिवन दैट एनसीआरबी, ओके, व्हाट इज एनसीआरबी का फुल फॉर्म? नेशनल क्राइम रिकॉर्ड ब्यूरो. डेटा शोज around half of the POCSO cases falling in the 16 to 18 years age gap such as amendment is overdue. ओके, यानी कि यहाँ पे क्या दिया हुआ है? केसेस फॉलिंग इन द 16 टू 18 आर सच एन अमेंडमेंट इज ओवरड्यू. उतने सारे केसेस बन गए कि अभी हम लोग को ये वाला पर्टिकुलर लॉ जो है उसको चेंज करना इज एन ओवरड्यू. Minimizing the prosecution of consensual romances would also leave a logjam system with more space to pursue actual assault cases. अभी क्या हो रहा है? इतने सारे केसेस है जो एक्चुअल सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट केसेस है, वो उसका जो मुद्दा है वो हट के जो मुद्दा काम का नहीं है उसमें इन्वॉल्वमेंट हो रहा है. The broader goal here is respecting the rights of adolescents and young adults. Their romantic and sexual autonomy needs greatly increased recognition in India. Okay, ऐसा recognition या एक acceptance level के ठीक है, चलो ये romantic level से link up हो गया है, but उसको crime का दर्जा देना is far too stretched. That is what is author's underlying point. Now let's move on with the questions. Minimizing the prosecution of consensual romances would also leave a logjam system with more space to pursue actual sexual assault cases. In the context of the statement, which of the following strengthens the author's opinion? Okay, यानी कि minimizing the prosecution of consensual romances will also leave a logjam system with more space to pursue actual sexual assault cases. इसमें author का कौन सा point strengthen हो रहा है? There are many unreported sexual assault cases. Okay, so यहाँ पे वो वाला पॉइंट एंड ये वाला पॉइंट इतना रिलेशन में नहीं आ रहा है. स्पीडी प्रोसिक्यूशन ऑफ सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट केसेस इज डिजायरेबल. नाउ दिस इज करेक्ट कि अगर हम लोग इसको मिनिमाइज कर दे जो काम का नहीं है, तो बाकी का जो है उसमें स्पीड आ सकता है, स्पीडी प्रोसिक्यूशन ऑफ एक्चुअल सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट केसेस. कंसेंशुअल रोमांस इन सम केस कैन अमाउंट टू सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट. नहीं, इसके बारे में बात नहीं की जा रही है. दिस इज ऑन नॉट ऑन द सरफेस. सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट एंड रेप्स आर डिफरेंट. ओके, सो यहाँ पे हम लोग को सीधा सीधा जो बेटर आंसर देखने मिल रहा है वो है ऑप्शन बी. Okay, let's move on with the next question. What has the author conveyed regarding the prosecution of stationary rape in India? What is the meaning of stationary rape? Stationary rape means, जो अंडर 18 ईयर्स में सेक्सुअली लिंक होते हैं उनको सीधा सीधा किसका दर्जा दिया जाता है? स्टेशनरी रेप का. ओके, सो लेट्स सी व्हाट वी हैव इन दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग. Stationary rape does not violate romantic and sexual autonomy of young adults. This is a very good answer, but we will just park this up and then we'll move on to the next. Statutory rape must be met with stricter punishment. No, that is in fact the opposite what is author trying to convey. Statutory rape must be abolished. See, completely abolishment is not correct because कुछ cases होते हैं जो genuine भी होते हैं. Statutory रेप इज अ relic ऑफ अ विक्टोरियन morality. bullshit. स्टैट्यूटरी रेप है वो वायलेट नहीं करता है रोमांटिक एंड सेक्सुअल ऑटोनॉमी ऑफ यंग एडल्ट्स. ओके, the law in this particular law, it does not violate a romantic and sexual autonomy of young adults. Okay, so A is a clear cut answer. इसमें there should be no confusion at all. As per the above passage, which of the following does not correctly represent author's view regarding the widespread persecution of teenage lovers under POCSO Act? Okay, मतलब रिप्रेजेंट नहीं करता वो हम लोग को निकालना है, ना कि रिप्रेजेंट करता हुआ. Teenagers have the right to love as much as adults. Okay, this we cannot mark this up. Police complaints of teenager lovers may lead to their harassment. This is also correct. मतलब this is what authors also indirectly trying to say this 2 points. Consent of the minor girls do not have legal validity. नहीं, this is what this the author knows that, yeah, okay, it does not have legal validity. Okay, consent of the minors have legal validity. इसमें तो ऑथर एग्री नहीं करेगा बिकॉज एज पर द लॉ कंसेंट ऑफ माइनर गर्ल्स हैव लीगल डू नॉट हैव लीगल वैलिडिटी. और यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है? इट हैज लीगल वैलिडिटी. तो इसको तो ऑफ कोर्स ऑथर का करेक्ट रिप्रेजेंटेशन नहीं माना जाएगा. इवन द ऑथर इज अवेयर दैट द गर्ल्स डज नॉट हैव द लीगल वैलिडिटी, क्योंकि यहाँ पे उन्होंने सीधा सीधा दिया है कि इट हैज अ जीरो लीगल वैलिडिटी. तो हम लोग ये बोल ही नहीं सकते कौन से भी एंगल से. सो आंसर यहाँ पे क्या आ जाएगा? ऑप्शन डी. ओके, लेट्स मूव ऑन विद द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. इन द अबव पैसेज व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग हैज कंसर्न्ड द कंसाइंस ऑफ द इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट? तो यहाँ पे इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट की बात की और उनके कंसाइंस की बात की है. हाउ इट्स कंसाइंस इज कंसर्न्ड बाय सच अ सीवियर, मतलब स्ट्रिक्ट पॉक्सो प्रोविजन बीइंग ड्रॉन. Okay, let's see where we have this particular thing. Like carelessness of teenager lovers, no. Threaten to safety of the teenager's lover. Okay, we can park this. Impact on mental health of teenage lovers, no, doesn't make sense. Harassment of teenage lovers by their families. Now this is correct because families are mainly involved in the harassment part. So option will be D. ओके, देखो ये थ्रेट टू सेफ्टी ऑफ टीनेजर लवर्स में ज़्यादा कंसर्न नहीं है. ज़्यादा कंसर्न हैरेसमेंट ऑफ टीनेज लवर्स बाय देयर फैमिलीज होना चाहिए, बिकॉज दिस इज मोर स्पेसिफिक आंसर एज अगेंस्ट बी. ओके, तो बी एंड डी में आपको कंफ्यूजन हो सकता है, बट डी इज ऑलवेज अ बेटर आंसर देन दैट ऑफ बी. ओके, as per the above passage, which of the following is a major challenge in implementation of the POXO Act? Speedy prosecution of cases, नहीं वो मेजर चैलेंज नहीं होना चाहिए. रिस्पेक्टिंग द राइट्स ऑफ एडोलेसेंट्स एंड यंग एडल्ट्स, देखो यहाँ पे the broader goal here is respecting the rights of adolescents and younger adults, but with the laws in our hand what we have, this becomes a challenging part. Counseling of adolescents and young adults, counseling regarding what? Not given clearly. Okay. Imposition of stringent punishment. No, this is not a challenge. This is in fact a convenience for the law. Correct. So answer over here is better. Answer over here is B. Respecting the rights of adolescents and young adults. Okay. So this is it with the passage 4 of PYQ of CLAT 2022. Okay, so I wish you all the best. Good luck, take care, increase your critical reasoning skills. I wish you all the best.